Okay guys, welcome back to another Scrapping Irish video. And I've already kind of done the introduction further on again in this video, but I decided to do a little note to explain something about this video because it might confuse you a bit. I started off the video doing gold pins, trying to recover the gold from gold pins. And then as I went on, I decided, well, hold on, I have other flakes here from ram sticks that I had done lately, a while back. That was sitting there in a little tub, and flakes from other gold pins that I'd done previously. And I had some old gold powder, and I had a little gold nugget. So I put it all in together, and that's what this video is about. It's about getting stuff re-refined, refining stuff. So if you want to see how I get my gold, what I get it from, and the process I go through, and the cleanup and all that sort of stuff to make sure you're getting the best purity of gold, this is the video for you. If you're not interested in that stuff, might as well move on to another YouTube channel. So at the start, we start off with gold pins, guys. We will be adding gold powder in. We will be adding a little gold nugget in that I had there as well, that I'd refined before, but I wanted to re-refine it to get the purity of it a bit better. So I decided to put it in while I had it there and while I was doing this. So the whole value of the gold at the end, remember, is not just from gold pins. It's from a few other little items as well. So now you can go watch the video. Don't forget, give it a thumbs up, share it out. If you're not a subscriber, why not consider subscribing to my channel? So catch you on the next one, guys. Okay guys, welcome back to another Scrapping Irish, and this one we're outside, so that can only mean one thing: gold recovery. So what are we working on today? Well, I have these gold plated pins and stuff, not an awful lot of them, but we want to remove the gold and recover the gold plating from them, and refine it and add it to other gold bits we have. So again, we have some more gold plated stuff in here. So the method I'm going to use for that is dilute nitric acid on heat. So what we have here is just some warm water. I'm just going to put that into a catch jar because we don't want it to crack and overflow when it's on the direct heat. So we want to make sure that we have a catch jar under it. So for the moment I just left it there because it's only warming up to give it a little bit of a boost. So let me get the catch jar. So we've got our catch jar here. Need to make a bit more room on my work area. Take that, put it into our catch jar. Got some nice heat coming there. So all I have in there at the moment is water. So that's it. So all I'm going to do is just add a small amount of pins first. We're not going to add an awful lot, just to get it into the water, and then we'll add a little bit of nitric acid and just get the reaction going. And once we have the reaction going, we can keep adding pins and stuff. So we're just going to put in some small amount just to get it going. So all that's in there at the moment is water. So just that amount for the moment. And again, a very small amount of nitric acid. I do have my mask that I will put on once the fumes start to rise. So we just put in a small little bit of nitric acid just to get it going, and we'll cover that. So what we will see eventually, once the temperature gets up, we'll see that the nitric acid will start to eat away the base metals, and then that will release the gold. So if I turn it this way, you might see it a bit better. Let me see if we can zoom you in a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to let that work away, and when you come back, you should see there's going to be some orange fumes have built up in there. I may add a little bit more pins and stuff to it, just to make sure there's enough stuff in there for it to start reacting. What we'll do is we'll add a bit more of these type pins. So these are very tiny little ones. These were from regia connectors. So we'll just because you don't want to add too much at the one time, because then you could end up getting a boil over. So you can already see the bubbles are starting. We're starting to get a little bit of reaction, but once this starts to get up in temperature a bit, we'll get a lot more reaction. We'll add just a small little bit more nitric. So that should be enough to get it. That's just distilled water I've in there, and the nitric acid. So you can come back in a few minutes and we'll see how we're getting on. Okay guys, so it's been about 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, and we have a reaction. You can see the reaction happening in there. There's a lot of fizzing and stuff like that. We've no visible gold yet floating off, and we don't have any of the big orange flames yet, or orange fumes from it. But we have a visible gold or visible reaction with the nitric acid and thing. As this heats up, you'll get a more vigorous reaction. So at the moment, it's still just kind of warm. I can turn the temperature up a small bit. We'll turn it up a touch, and that will give us get us up in temperature a bit quicker. So again, what I want to see is more vigorous reactions start to happen, and that's the gold beginning to come away from the base materials as the base materials is being ate up by the nitric acid. So I can see a little tinge of blue coming to it down here, so that's starting to eat away some of the material. So we'll come back once it gets up and more vigorous, so you can see, and then I can be adding in as we go along, but just to show you what to expect when you do this method. Okay guys, so it's been about another 15 minutes, and you can see now the reaction is, I've added a little bit more water, I've added some more pins, and you can see the reaction is really vigorous now. I don't know, can I zoom you in so you can see what's happening, but I think you can see some gold going by there every so often. So there is gold flakes starting to go by. So I'm going to let that carry on for a while, and once it all settles down, we'll come back and have a look and see what's happening in there. So you can see the fumes are really building up in there. Again, I have my mask here, so I'll be putting that on once I go anywhere near it. As at the moment I'm behind it and I'm using the camera to zoom in to show you what's happening, but if I go up near it, I will be using the mask. I have my gloves on, and I'll be using rubber gloves over this, because again, everyone knows these ones are nitro gloves, so don't use these directly with nitric acid, because they can go on fire, believe it or not. So yeah, we let that work away. Don't need to be doing any, don't need to show you anything, because again, I have loads of videos where you see this process being done. So this was just the dilute nitric acid, and it's working away, eating away the material. So you can see vigorous reaction in there. So hopefully we'll have some gold to filter out of there once we're done. So let's come back when this reaction has stopped and we're ready for filtering. So we're ready to filter now, and I've already filtered a little bit off. So that little bit I filtered off did have some, as you can see in here, I'm going to filter over there for a second. You see that paste in there, that grey paste. So that's usually a sign of some tin having gone into solution with it. So making, I think it's called mastatic acid or manostatic or something like that. I'm very bad at pronouncing names. So this actually gives me an opportunity to test something out that someone told me. So they said a good way to clean this up afterwards is to boil it in ammonia. So we're going to try that, because I'm going to have to clean it up. You can see that cloudy sort of paste appearing in the solution. I'll show it to you here. So you can see there's some gold was in there, but you can see here that's very cloudy solution. So it's either silver or it's that tin that's gone into solution. So I think it's tin. but it could also be silver, but we're going to try and clean it up with ammonia. That's the plan. So it gives me an opportunity to try out this method that I was told by another guy that does gold refining as well, that the ammonia will clean that up. So there's only one way to find out, and that's to do it. So we're going to filter everything out, wash it in distilled water, and then I'm going to put it into ammonia and try and clean it up and see can we get rid of that paste out of it. Now, if it's silver, it should discolor with the UV light. It should go a different colour, so it's not going a different colour, and I had it out in the sunshine, so I don't think it's silver. So we'll know soon enough. So I'm just going to carry on filtering. Once we're filtered completely, we'll come back and we'll check and see what our next stage is. Right, so I filtered out, I've added some more gold that I had in there belonged to other things, and you can see the water is like a grey colour. It's got a lot of dirt in there probably and stuff. So what someone has told me, and I don't know if there's any tin in there, that's mestatic acid, that grey pasty stuff that can be in there when you filter sometimes, but I don't think there is. But I've been told by another guy that does gold refining to wash it with household ammonia. Now anyone that's used household ammonia will know the smell is atrocious, so he said to put a little bit in and boil it. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to put it in. I have my gloves on, and we might as well put it all in, will we? Yeah, we'll save some for later. So that's it. I'm just going to leave that in there, boil it, and see what. Just clean it up anyways when we boil it in the ammonia. Now it'll stink like hell. So I'm going to let that run. We'll come back and see what it's like later. Right guys, so I've been boiling that in the ammonia for a good 2-3 hours, and you can see if I zoom in a bit, that is still, wrong way, that is still boiling away. It's still very dirty also. So what I'm going to do is, I think that's as clean as it's going to get, because I've been boiling it for so long. I don't think it's going to get any better. So I'm going to switch it off, let it cool, filter it, wash it again, just give it a wash in distilled water to make sure we clean it up as best we can, and we might as well just put it into Aqua and see how we get on. Gotta love the gold just bubbling up in there from the boiling. Interesting reaction, but anyhow, let's go and filter it and let's get it ready to get it into Aqua. Okay guys, so I have washed that out after doing the ammonia clean on it. So you can see in there there's some nice gold flakes. I'm just drying it out a little bit. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add mix up some Aqua. So again, if you don't know how to make up the Aqua, check out some of my other videos and it'll show you there how I do it. So I'm just going to add that to this, so we'll come back once that's been running for a few minutes, because I've shown so many times how to do it. I'm not going to show it on this video. If you want to see how to do it, just go back and have a look at some of my other videos. So I'm going to put this together, I'll let it run for a few minutes, and we'll come back and we'll just see how it is progressing on the heat. So come back in a few minutes and we should have the Aqua running. Well, for you it's going to be instant, for me it's going to be a few minutes. So bring me out a bit. So that's just on some heat, and we'll add the nitric acid and we'll add the hydrochloric acid and a bit of nitric, and we'll get it going, and you can come back in a few minutes and see how it's progressing. So let's see how we got on. Okay, so we've been running it for about 20 minutes and it's dissolving down the gold. You can already see that. There's a lot less gold floating around in there. So we are getting it dissolved down. So it's very cloudy, very dirty, because there's a lot of bits of plastic probably in there, bits of material off some boards, bits of the pins probably still as well, bits and pieces of stuff that didn't dissolve down fully for me, but hopefully it won't be too bad of a drop. It'll probably be a dirty enough drop, but I'm going to let that run now for a few hours, maybe on low heat, and once I can't see there's any more gold, I'll filter it. So when you come back, we'll have a look and see how it progresses. So hopefully it'll be all dissolved soon in a couple of hours. Everything should be dissolved in there. I'll add some more nitric if I need to, but I will filter it out, and when you're coming back it'll be ready for filtering. So let's get ready for filtering, I suppose. Next page. Okay guys, so I did filter, and I was going to just do the drop then, but I decided that I still had some gold powders and bits of gold that were like in there. Now there's a little bit of a gold nugget that I had that I wasn't happy with the purity of, so I've thrown it in there and I'm dissolving it back down into the gold, or into the solution. And I've also decided to add this powder from a gold drop you may have seen a while back, which had this other white powder in among it. So I've decided definitely to add it to this. So we're going to put it in, and hopefully, whoa. So that white powder was obviously some sort of denoxing agent. So I'm hoping we may need to add a little bit more nitric in a minute to get it to work. So we have a little bit of the gold powder here. We're going to throw it in. Now I may need to add a little bit more nitric acid. Zoom in a bit so you can see what's happening. So it's dissolving in anyhow, so I'm going to let that run, and hopefully that will get rid of that. So that was another, I think it was 2.5 or 3 grams of gold powder gone in there. I've put a 5 gram nugget in there. I've all them flakes from when I was doing other bits and pieces. There's a lot of different types of gold gone in there into this, so we should have a nice little drop from it once we get everything dissolved. So I'm going to let that work away. We'll come back once there's no more reaction and everything has dissolved into the solution. If I need to add a little bit more nitric to make sure everything dissolves, I will. We'll neutralize and we'll drop. So come back once we've let this run for a while. Okay, so I have all that powder has been dissolved into the solution. I have filtered it, got rid of that white residue sort of stuff. You can see in here some of that white residue powder that still didn't dissolve in the Aqua regia. But the most important part now is going to be the test before we go to neutralizing and dropping out, so hopefully some nice amount of gold. So we're going to just do a stannous test. So you can see here, just put that swab in there. I've got my stannous chloride here, and what we're looking for is black colour, guys. When we hit it, there we go. Look at that. Look at that. That's what we call a positive test for precious metals. So you can see there, very black colour, which is brilliant. What we really want is that. So now that we've done that and proven that there is gold in there, we know there's gold in there because we have put gold into it, because I know that I put a nugget, there was a 4 or 5 gram nugget in. I also had all them gold flakes from the pins. I had gold flakes from the other bits and pieces, miscellaneous stuff that was lying around that I just chucked in. So now it's time to neutralize it. So I'm going to use my sulfamic acid to neutralize it for any excess nitric in there. I'm not expecting a lot of excess nitric to be in there, but we'll throw in a bit of this material in here so you can see the reaction. So that's going to get rid of all that excess nitric acid that's in there. More than I thought in there. So we'll just let that settle for a second. Okay, a bit more. Okay, I don't see much more reaction. I'll just put a little bit more in, and if there's no more reaction, we're neutralized, I'm presuming. When I say a little bit, I mean a good bit. Okay, we'll stir that. Wash down with some distilled water. So you can see there is, I don't know, let me put it down for you to see. You can see there's some of the sulfamic acid settling in the middle there. So that means it's no longer dissolving any more of the sulfamic acid. So it's got it neutralized. So what I'm going to do now again is we're going to filter again, because the last time I've done this I made a mistake, and that's where that white powder came from, was the crystallization of the sulfamic acid that hadn't dissolved. So I'm going to filter it to make sure I don't have any sulfamic acid left in here this time. So that's looking good. I might put a little bit of heat on it just to be 100% sure that everything is dissolved or neutralized. So when you come back, we'll be ready to drop the gold, because I'll have filtered it again and we'll have got rid of all that excess nitric acid to be gone. We'll have got rid of that sulfamic acid that's down there in the bottom. Should be no more of that left in the solution either, and we should get a nice little drop. So let's see how we get on. Okay, so it's about to start raining here, so I've decided we'll do this drop. Sorry about the lighting, it's a bit gone dull because it's about to start raining. So I'm just going to drop it using some SMB for this one, and we'll see what we end up with. So it's filtered, it's nice clean looking material, so let's see what we end up with. So we've got a nice colour change, going a dark colour. We'll just give it a quick stir. Oop, don't want to knock any of it out. So you can see the colour change there is really good. So we'll let that settle, and we'll see what we end up with. So come back once that's all settled. Could take a couple of hours, could take a couple of minutes, but we have got our colour change, so that's exactly what we wanted. We've got a nice colour change with some bits of gold floating on top, powder, and as it all gathers up, it'll start to settle to the bottom. We'll do a stannous test at the end just to see if we have any gold still left in solution, because we want to make sure we get it all out. So I'm going to cover that, put it away and let it settle. So come back once it's all settled. Okay guys, so I'm filtering off this, and this is the drop. Well, this is some of the filters, and it looks like it's metallic. gold floating on top. Never seen that before. So I done the drop, the gold went to the bottom, and now we've got this, which is very strange. Anyone ever come across that? Let me know in the comments. Strange. Right, so I have drained off the excess liquid, rinsed it a few times in hot water, boiled it out, and this is the powder we're left with. I haven't dried it out yet because what I'm going to do now with that is I'm going to give it a boil in some hydrochloric acid to clean it up, to make sure any base metals that might be still there I might be able to wash out. It's looking like a nice amount of gold powder in there. You can see, let me see if we can you can see it there as it moves across that thing. So there's some up along the side of the glass as well. So it looks like a nice amount, but until we dry it out and weigh it, we won't know. But I also wanted to show you the filter. You can see there's some gold, which I showed in that video just there, that other part of the video, that I didn't expect. So we've got some like floating gold. It's like a very thin layer of gold that has come out of solution and come out as a gold color, not like the brown metal or brown powder. It's come out like a metallic gold. So I'll hold on to that filter, dry it out, and probably refine that when I'm doing another gold refine as well. So there is a little bit there that came out through the filter. You've seen that on that little bit of video. So what I'm going to do now is, put that back so you can see, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wash that, give that a boil in hydrochloric acid, and we'll come back once I've done the hydrochloric acid wash plus dried it out, so that we can actually see what weight we got. So you'll be, when you come back, you'll be able to see what we ended up with, hoping that it's a nice little amount of gold. Looking good, but you don't know until you weigh it. Could be disappointing, but we know when we weigh it. So I'm gonna get on with that there now. Okay guys, so I have dried out the gold. As you can see here, it's a nice golden colour after I've washed it in the hydrochloric acid. So it's that nice brown colour that we like to see from it. So the next thing that we have to do, of course, is weigh it. So let me adjust my camera a bit. Okay, so we'll just put it over here for a second. We'll get our little scales out. Get our little tub. Zero it. I'm hoping for around 10 grams, something around that. Anything between 7 and 10, I'll be happy enough with. Anything below the 7, bit disappointing. So we're hoping for in around 10 grams. Anything else will be a bonus. Okay, well, we're gone to past the 10, and still some in here, which is good. Let me just get the brush and make sure we've got everything that needs to come out. Okay, so quite happy with that. 11.65 grams of gold, and we still have some other gold that's here, so I might as well add that in here with it. So remember that, 11.65 grams of gold, and we'll add in this powder that I have in this tub, because there are a few little gold drops I've done earlier in the year, and so 18 grams of gold. Wow, that's nice. So over halfway there to another ounce of gold, and I still have some more gold pins and I have more gold ram to work on. So maybe before the year is out we'll get to another ounce of gold. Hopefully that's the plan. If we can get another ounce to add to the ounce I done earlier this year, that'll be 2 ounces of gold, so that'll be over 6,000 quid's worth of gold. Then I've silver, copper, brass, all that other stuff you get from it. So not too bad for a little hobby. So we'll put the lid back on this. Some nice looking gold in there. So 18 grams of gold. Not to be sniffed at. So that's it, guys, for this video. So that was a mixture of different stuff I dropped. So there was the one, I know there was a 4 ounce gold, or 4 ounce, a 4 gram, or was it a 6 gram? Sorry, no, 4 gram, just under, just in around 4 grams of gold that I put in there, a little gold nugget, I think, around that. I can't remember rightly. Now we still have the filter that has that goldy looking material in there down at the bottom. I know it's a bit hard to see it, but it's still in there. So that filter will get whatever gold is on that as well out of it. So guys, as always, appreciate everyone for watching the videos. The gold recovery videos, there'll be a lot more melting of brass and copper and stuff like that coming along, but we'll still be doing our gold recovery and our silver recoveries and stuff like that. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel if that's what you want to see, how you can get from these e-waste to that gold powder and eventually to some nice chunks of gold like that from it. So like that little piece of gold there alone weighs 13 grams. We have other little bits and pieces here again, and that's another 19 grams there, and I have other bits and pieces around. So not too bad at all. Happy enough with that. So thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to hit the like, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you very much.